So, humanity's a hive mind, like the Dwemer in Skyrim. Can we talk about it already? Because the deletes at the top very surely know this and very clearly have been using this to their advantage the entire time we've been around. So, why is it that we have all of these clair abilities, all eight of them or however many are out there, like clairsentience, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairaudience, all of that? Deja vu. Why do we have that? Mama bears. Why do you guys know when your kids are in pain and something's wrong, even if you don't even live anywhere near them? How do you just automatically know when someone you care about is going through something that is putting stress or strain on their energetic field or their physical vessel? If we're not all connected and there's no woo woo weirdness going on in the background, why do we have deja vu? Why does any of this exist? Why has the CIA pumped so much money into studying all the weird woo woo stuff if there's nothing to it? Why do all these politicians and top government officials and all of the people actually running the world behind the scenes employ witches and warlocks and wizards and all kinds of other people who deal with energy and things like that if there's nothing to it? Why can remote viewers not remote view into all of these government facilities? Why are they blocked by energetic things that keep them out of them if there's nothing to it? Why did we do things like MK Ultra and all of the other weird things the government has spent an undisclosed amount of our taxpayer dollars on to study all that weird woo-woo shit if it doesn't work? Why are they reverse engineering crafts and things they shoot down and playing with propulsion and gravity and all of this crazy things if there's nothing more to it? You know? That's what I keep coming back to. Because I have been through a lot in my life. I used to be a practicing Hellenistic witch, and I know that there's more to this life than we've been told. I know that there's more to the energy behind the scenes. I'm an empath. I have a bunch of the clairs. I was a gate kid. I mean, I have so much going on in this little physical vessel and this little energy that's just bubbling all out of me and around me. It's all so connected. And then there's another facet of that I can't stop thinking about lately. If energy can neither be created nor destroyed, and everything came from the same thing at some point far enough back in our time, we all came from the same thing, or so the narrative and the propaganda we've been fed tells us. So by that knowledge, every single atom in this universe is quantum entangled with itself. Every single thing that exists now used to all exist as one little thing that expanded out. So we're all kind of cousins, weird incesty way, but in the same vein, that means that, like, your thoughts, your actions, the people around you, your jobs, literally every single facet of every single part of humanity as we know it and this planet that we live on, all the birds, the bees, the trees, the every single thing you can think of, every single object that has ever or will ever exist is interconnected on a quantum level. Every single thing. And that means, on some level, we have the ability to manipulate, to interact with, to change every single thing that ever was and ever will be. In one way or another, it is able to be manipulated. And then furthermore, when you take that and you know that time is fractal based on trauma and the things that you've been through, and so you experience the literal way time works differently depending on the things you have been subjected to, and then you extrapolate the fact that every single one of us under capitalism and all this forced slavery and everything is full of zoochosis and all of these various mental illnesses and other things that are all together symptoms of capitalism under the umbrella of enshittification and greed of all of these corporations and everything. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Yep, that's where we're going. We're just mad at capitalism today with that one. But they know it. The ones who have spent these billions of dollars on all of this propaganda, on all of this research on the background, They know that everything is entangled. And they know that keeping us stressed out and chaotic and in this false sense of urgency splits us from ourselves, from our time experiences, from our interactions with others, from literally every single aspect of ourselves and our societies and our communities, to spend, 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 buy, more, more, do, expand, expand, expand. You are taking all of that energy that you could be quantum entangling and deja vuing and clairaudience, clairvoyance, following your inner intuition and doing something productive with. And instead of following that, you're going, oh, I need the next iPhone, the next coolest, biggest thing, because, oh my God, the algorithms on my phone that have been watching my emotions since I was a 10-year-old have noticed the micro expressions in my face and it's all so interconnected. And I hope that this makes even like the tiniest shrivel of a shred of sense and that I'm not just like word vomiting at you guys. Because that's the whole point of this channel and my other one at Pattern Pilled Princess Peach has been me trying to like bring all of this together and do something meaningful with it. Because it's like, yes, everything is crazy and things are going bad and wrong. And the people in power are taking control of it all and using it against us. But at the same time, those tools of oppression, if we know it, if we see the patterns and we call them out and we say that's manipulation, that's distortion, that's slavery, that's forced labor, that's whatever that is, that's extortion, that's bribery, that's blackmail. If we put a name to it and we put a face to it, we can call it out, we can address it, and we can do better. We can say we don't want to be manipulated that way. We don't want these algorithms serving us this and that on a platter. We don't want this rotation of items to buy and these coupon codes and these things. We realize how this is sucking our energy and pulling us out of ourselves, and how they're taking these psyops or whatever they're doing, you know, the psychological operations or Freedom of Information Act logs and all of these crazy things that the people in power are doing. We can say, look, it's all just a pattern, and that's how they're taking all of our power and our control and our sense of self and our sense of authority away from us, putting it under this label of religion or authority or military or government or whatever it is, and then selling it back to us for $9.99 a month. We don't need that. We can cut out the stupid middleman because they've already proved a bajillion times over how useless these CEOs and all that shit are, all the deletes at the top. They're not actively adding any sort of value to our lives, just like all the AI slop of fake videos of people at zoos and stuff. That's not doing anything but stealing water from communities of color. If you're using AI to actually help save the world, cool, use it as a tool. But most people aren't. Most people aren't able to see past the propaganda and the distractions and the distortion and the manipulation, to call it out, to sit with the discomfort of, whoa, that's a lot going on in the background. I didn't know that, but now that I know that, I can be aware and I can choose to make the choice that will suit me and my collective and my community and ultimately my planet better. So I think 2026 is really the year we really need to start talking about this. Everything is quantumly connected, and the people at the top know that and are using it to their advantage. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to utilize the tools of your oppression as the tools of your liberation? Because they're tools either way. You can take a hammer and you can smack yourself in the face with it until you give yourself a concussion, or you can use it to build a house, or you can use it to build a wheelbarrow for your neighbor, or you can use it to, I don't know, drive away an intruder. There's so many things that you can do with every single thing in your life. This is a tool. 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 Every single thing in this reality is a tool to you. It's all connected. It's all quantum entangled. It is every single thing is for you, is for me, is for all of us. I don't think it's a coincidence that all of this knowledge is coming to light with the Epstein files and all of the crazy big bad of all of this right now. And people like me are choosing to use their voice and stand up and speak up and call attention to all of it and just speak up in general and give people something to look forward to, use our voices, try to create community, do something to just be a human and not just be stuck behind a screen doom scrolling and being told what to do by algorithms and the people at the top with all the money. Because I don't know about you, but I'm really, really fucking sick and tired of the world just working this way, because
that's how it's always been. Because a couple rich old white men hundreds of years ago told us that that's the best way to do things, so we decide that's the best way to do things, and there must not ever be a better way to do things because that's just the way they've always been done. And if you try to think something new, you're wrong.
Because capitalism isn't working. I'm recording a video. Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
You're doing a video?
Yes, goodbye. Yes, goodbye. Ay. Having roommates is... Love my mom. Jeez. But yeah, everything like that. Everything is quantumly connected and entangled and important, and we need to learn how to call attention to it and do something productive with it instead of just letting it be done to us. We're not here to just experience and be victims of our circumstances and to just rot behind a screen while capitalism destroys the planet and the billionaires drive it into the ground. We're not here for that. You don't have a brain for that. You don't have consciousness and awareness and fingers and toes and a voice to speak with. It's not a coincidence that you have deja vu. It's not a coincidence that your intuition tells you things before you should know them. My intuition has led me down some fucking insane paths that make no sense and should not have logically been able to happen, but they did and they were right. And it freaks me out, but it's right. And the more I listen to it, the more I'm learning to tune into it. The more I'm trusting it. The more I'm getting out of it, the more my body is learning to heal and relax and breathe into that space and just let it be. Because at the end of the day, we're all just animals. Yeah, we have all these crazy abilities and things like that, and these clairs and all that, but like, we are just mammals. We're slightly more advanced, but like, we have a little less hair. We're no different. That's part of why I think it's so weird, the constraints that we've given ourselves. Imagine if birds and bees had to have passports and visas to go on their migratory routes. You know? Imagine if beetles got stopped by customs. Would crabs be cops? Would fishes be firefighters? Like, how would they pay taxes? Who assigns them a social security number? Do they know their blood type? Do they go on Ancestry.com? It's all interconnected. We're all just animals, and capitalism has made it so much more weird and complicated and taken us away from what it really means to be human and have community and have each other and explore the truths of this world and the things that came before us. Because it's so clear everywhere we look. I keep talking about it to y'all. Everywhere we look, our past doesn't line up with the narrative we've been fed either. Because the narrative we've been fed, again, benefits that very small group of people that are in control of the world as we know it nowadays. And if the narrative changes, the control changes. The manipulation that they're able to put onto us changes. The ways that they're able to run society change. The amount of money they're able to make off of our slavery changes. The horrible conditions they're able to subject us to change. Because if we realize that humanity was never meant to live this way, would we keep living this way? If we woke up tomorrow and found out that we used to have spaceships, would you still pay taxes? Would you still support wars in the Middle East? If you knew that we were able to travel to constellations tens of thousands of years ago? If you knew that we could travel out of body or something like that? Because the more research I do, it seems like our ancestors really knew how to do some really crazy shit like that. And so much money has been spent by our government blowing these places up, bombing them, taking control of them, doing something to impose authority and rewrite the narrative and gain control over populations. And especially indigenous peoples, especially people who are really connected to all of these older sacred sites. It's all interconnected in like a freaky way the more you look into it. The more you feel into the spiritual woo-woo side of things, and like I said, all the clairs and everything like I keep talking about, it's all quantum entangled. Again, it is all everything everywhere all at once. and we're meant to do something with it. I don't know what yet, but I'm hoping that by sharing on this journey and connecting with you guys and trying to do something with it, that one day we'll be able to figure it out together. Because I don't think it's for nothing that we have all of these abilities, that we have all of these ruins, that we have all of these questions, that we have all of these feelings just deep seated in our hearts, in our guts, in our minds, in our spirits, in our intuition. Ever since I was a kid, none of this sat right with me. None of the narrative that we've been fed about the pyramids, about our past, about our ancestors, about the slaves, about literally any of it, none of it, it all feels like it came from that rich white man trying to uphold control through a narrative of fear and control and just like greed and abuse. It all has felt so shitty and wrong to me. What about y'all? Do y'all agree? Do y'all think I'm crazy? Do y'all feel the same way? Did y'all also read, I don't know, the Percy Jackson books as a kid and go, yeah, there's something more to all of this. I don't know if it's quite like that where the Titans are battling each other up in space or whatever the fuck, but like there's clearly something there and the government knows it and has spent a very large amount of our money on trying to figure out what it is. And the Vatican knows too. Like all of the big guys are connected with it. It's a big man's club, a big boys club, and we ain't in it. I keep saying that too. 2026 is going to be very interesting. I think COVID in particular showed us society is meant to function so differently. Community is meant to function so differently. We have no more third spaces. We can't afford anything to exist. They are crushing us down into more and more of a box, and it's making us see and feel viscerally, ferally, how wrong all of this is. Hence the zoochosis and everything else. And like I said, the symptoms of capitalism that all of us are feeling and suffering because of the 1% of the deletes at the top. But that's not here for us to suffer through forever. So figure out what you can do. Think global, act local. I saw that the other day and I really liked that. See what you can do, whether it's popping on and doing content creation like this, or talking to people when you're at the gym, or when you're out getting groceries. I love sparking up random conversations, dropping weird little one-liners about how shitty capitalism is, and just like really making people face the uncomfortable truth of like, oh yeah, it does suck out here. We can just say that. We can just flip off the cops and say, you suck. My tax dollars pay you for me to tell you you suck. Stop harassing minorities. Like, find out what it is that you can do to use your voice to be some sort of good in the world, to make something of this quantum entanglement. You hear the fireworks popping off in the background now? What can you do for that fireworks moment to feel like you truly feel alive, like you're not stuck in the zoochosis and the control and the manipulation and the narrative that we've been fed? To feel like you're feeding your intuition, your claircognizance, your clairaudience, your clairvoyance, your deja vus, yourself and your community and your hive mind as a whole, Because I think the more we acknowledge this and the more we express this, the more all of us are having open dialogue about this, the more all of us are realizing we're all feeling the exact same way. Because again, we're a hive mind. We all feel the exact same way at the core. We have all of these things stacked on top of it that's just like different. It's like a billion different radio stations playing all at once over the original frequency that all of us share, That all of us, when you remove the noise and you can just sit with the breath and let go of that sense of urgency, the sense to rush, the urge to be someone, to do everything, to be perfect all the time, you just feel different. You feel like a different person. You feel like you're on a different wavelength, like you're in a different vessel almost, is how I feel. I feel like I'm in like a parallel reality of sorts. Like I have felt so many different versions of self in this lifetime. I've felt into different parallel realities and different versions of self, like Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I think all of us are capable of tapping into those, of feeling into those versions of self, of pulling things out of those versions of self, whether it's a sense of safety or a better way to communicate or like an idea for a project or something. We're meant to experience those different versions of self the same way we're meant to experience the different literal faces of ourselves, like me, like you, like your sister, your brother, your mother, the stranger across the street, your neighbor, the guy who bags your groceries. We're all the same energy, just from different angles, all to experience itself to help us become the best versions of each other that we can be, ourselves and each other, and our collective as a whole, so that we can figure out what the hooky dookie we're doing here. And this has been a really long video. I love you guys so much every single time. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye!